Can the US president broker peace between Ukraine and Russia? I ask this because Trump has been urging an immediate halt to the war in Ukraine, but his Monday call with Russian President Vladimir Putin led to anything but that. Instead of pushing Russia for a ceasefire, Trump, it seems, has backed away from new sanctions and accepted Putin's proposal for months-long negotiations. A move that has alarmed Ukraine and frustrated European allies. According to reports, Putin proposed that both the sides should draft a memorandum of peace terms before agreeing to stop fighting, delaying any potential truce. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said that there is no time frame and can be none since the drafts will take time. Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky hit back and warned that Russia is just buying time to regroup. The reactions are not surprising. This was Trump's third call with Putin. That's since taking office. And according to experts, a clear pattern is emerging. The US demands peace, Putin counters, and Trump steps back. Critics are now saying that Putin is just offering Trump an outcome, talks without concessions, and Trump is clearly taking it. Meanwhile, Russia's conditions remain unacceptable to Ukraine, including bans on Western weapons and military recruitment from the European perspective. So, the war is much closer from the European perspective. Leaders had planned coordinated sanctions with the US, but after Trump's phone call with Putin, that plan collapsed. The EU has imposed its own sanctions, albeit limited. They have acknowledged that the procedure is becoming harder without US backing. Take German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius' response. He says that Russia is clearly playing for time. He says that EU might tighten the sanctions screw and there must be consequences. For months now, European leaders have expressed concern that Trump would abandon Ukraine to a shotgun peace agreement, and on Putin's terms, that fear began to feel more real last night. That's when the US president signaled that he was done trying to broker a deal between Russia and Ukraine and putting pressure on Moscow. One surprise from the Trump-Putin call, if you may wonder, well, it is a possible mediation role for the Vatican. After the call with Putin, Trump suggested that ceasefire talks between Moscow and Kyiv should take place in the Vatican, hosted by Pope Leo XIV. Is this feasible? Possibly. But if it happens, it would be a high-profile and potentially risky first act of international diplomacy, for the American-born Pope especially. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who met the Pope on Monday along with Vice President J.D. Vance, said on Saturday that the Vatican was a place that both the sides would be comfortable going, though he downplayed the idea that the Pope would be a broker in Ukraine peace procedure. Last week, Pope Leo XIV vowed to make every effort to help end the war in Ukraine and conflicts elsewhere in the world. The Vatican has previously offered to help facilitate talks under Pope Francis, but no peace talks took place for 3 years prior to talks on Friday in Istanbul between Russia and Ukraine that ended without a major breakthrough. Meanwhile, from Moscow, the message was clear. Trump is warming up to Russia. Kremlin aides say that the US president spoke warmly about restoring a World War II-style military brotherhood. Trump stressed on the Russia's key role in the world, and he expressed regret about how far the two countries have drifted apart. Russian officials now describe the situation as two separate negotiation tracks, one between Russia and the US, and the other Ukraine and Europe. Given how many times Trump team has described him as a deal maker who loves peace, can Trump realistically broker a peace deal for Ukraine? That we'll have to wait and watch. Days after threatening to block Israel airport, Yemen's Iran-backed Houthis have now taken the war to the waters by imposing a maritime blockade on Israel's Haifa port. The military spokesperson for Yemen's Houthis, Yahya Sari, recently announced that the Haifa port might just be its next target. In his address, he also made it more than clear that the move is in response to Israel's ongoing offensive in Gaza. And I quote him here, all military decisions and measures related to the Israeli enemy, including support operations and both air and naval blockades, will be suspended only when the aggression against Gaza stops and the siege is lifted, unquote. This is not the first time that Houthis have expressed their support with the people of Gaza. For one, the Houthis have continued to fire missiles at Israel, including on Ben Gurion Airport near Tel Aviv. Although they have agreed to halt attacks on U.S. ships, courtesy a recent ceasefire deal formulated by U.S. President Donald Trump. In response, Israel has carried out strikes, including one on May 6th, that damaged Yemen's main airport in Sana'a and killed several people. Just last week, Houthis held a massive rally in capital Sana'a, attended by almost 1 million people supporting the Gaza cause. Meanwhile, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced earlier that his country will take control of all of Gaza as a part of a heightened offensive against Hamas. And the tensions seem to be escalating ever since, be it Houthis attacking Israeli ships right after the start of the Gaza conflict in 2023, or them vowing to aggravate measures against Israel should it refuse to curb its military offensives and lift aid blockade immediately. Just for context here, the Israeli occupation forces resumed the offensive on Gaza on 18th March, launching airstrikes across the Strip. This is in violation of the ceasefire agreement, which lasted nearly 60-odd days. And the situation in Gaza is worsening with every passing day because food, water and essential supplies needed for basic survival are depleting, pushing people to the brink of a famine. Simultaneously, Israel is intensifying its attacks against Houthis. Just last week, Israel threatened to target Houthi leaders after Israeli fighter jets struck 2 Houthi-held ports. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, warned Houthi leaders that if missile attack continues, they face the same fate as Hamas leaders slain by Israel in Gaza.
As we said, if the Houthis continue to fire missiles at the state of Israel, they will be severely damaged, and the leaders will also be damaged, just as we did to Daif and the Sinwars in Gaza, to Nasrallah in Beirut, and to Haniyeh in Tehran. So we will also do to Abdul Malik al-Houthi in Yemen. We will continue to defend ourselves with our own strength against any enemy.
And where things stand currently, there seems to be no backing down from both the sides. And now this maritime blockade adds to the threats of disrupting global shipping passing through the Red Sea. It serves as trump card for the Houthis to build and sustain international pressure on Israel to back off or face dire consequences. This Thursday, over 200 guests will arrive at the Trump National Golf Club in Virginia for a lavish dinner hosted by U.S. President Donald Trump. But these guests are not diplomats or political leaders or political insiders. They are crypto investors. Specifically, the top buyers of the Trump meme coin launched by the U.S. President himself just hours before his January inauguration. The event promises more than just fine dining. The 25 biggest investors in the meme coin will enjoy exclusive perks, including a personal meeting with Trump and a guided tour of the White House. One promotional site called it the most exclusive invitation in the world, teasing, "Are you in?" So this dinner is more than a social gathering. It appears to be a fusion of business and politics. The U.S. president's crypto coin has reportedly delivered massive profits. Data from a data analytical firm shows that Trump and his allies have garnered $320 million in trading fees. Critics warn that this monetized access to the White House opens the door to foreign influence through digital currency. Many of the early investors have reportedly already started selling off their coins after the May 12th deadline for securing a dinner invite passed. In March, Trump issued an executive order to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the U.S. government, what the official White House fact sheet describes as positioning the United States as a leader among nations in government digital asset strategy. The Trump family has also made gains into the digital finance world. Trump's sons, Eric and Donald Jr., are co-founders of World Liberty Financial, which is a crypto venture that launched in September. One of their partners is Zach Witkoff, the son of Trump's advisor, Steve Witkoff. Meanwhile, another Trump-backed company led by Trump's eldest sons, American Bitcoin, plans to list on the New York Stock Exchange, promising to lower Bitcoin mining costs in the United States. As money, politics and digital assets become more entangled, some U.S. lawmakers are sounding the alarm. Senators Adam Schiff and Elizabeth Warren reportedly wrote a letter to the Office of U.S. Government to investigate and probe what they called the selling of access to the presidency, claiming that the American people deserve assurance that access to the U.S. president is not being offered for sale to the highest bidder in exchange for the president's own financial gain. China appears to be building a smarter battlefield, one powered not just by soldiers and machines, but by artificial intelligence. And at the center of this technological transformation is one clear goal: preparing for a future war with Taiwan. At a recent military technology expo held in Beijing, Chinese defense firms showcased a range of AI systems designed to enhance everything from intelligence gathering to combat training. And these tools were not just theoretical, some of them had already been put to use. One startup from Beijing displayed an AI-driven flight training simulator. And the reference map, a region just off the coast of Taiwan. And that's no coincidence. These simulations are reportedly built for military drills around the Taiwan Strait. One of the company representatives behind this has confirmed that the PLA is actively using the system for daily flight training. But that's just one piece of the puzzle. Other firms at the expo showcased AI assistants tailored for battlefield commanders. One that can process real-time data and guide military decisions on the spot, such as one Chinese firm located close to the Taiwan Strait that could offer more than 70 military application scenarios, including combat command and strategy simulation, all of which aligns with Chinese President Xi Jinping's statements made in March, where he directed the PLA to integrate advanced technology and stay battle-ready. Meanwhile, Taiwan's president asserted his country's commitment to peace, but was equally clear that illusions will not protect the island, adding that Taiwan must strengthen its defenses even as it seeks dialogue.
Taiwan loves peace. Taiwan society believes in the goodness of people. I too am committed to peace, because peace is priceless and war has no winners. But when it comes to seeking peace, we cannot have dreams nor illusions.
Taiwanese president's comments came on the same day as its military detected at least 6 PLA aircraft and 8 Navy vessels operating close to its borders. So what's happening here is no longer hypothetical. China is not just flexing muscle. It is programming machines for the Taiwan war.